guys, welcome to Irish Footy Vlogs and welcome to the First Division preview show. We have a full programme of matches on Friday. In fact, actually, the Premier and First Division matches are all Friday this week, incidentally. We'll start off, Daz, with Cabinteely and Galway United. Cabo in 8th, Galway in 2nd. Interesting that, obviously, Alua has left the club and joined Larne. Obviously signed up to Bowes, but he wasn't loaned in Galway. It didn't really work out for him since he left Shamrock Rovers, has it, at Bowes or Galway? So what do you make of that, actually?
It's a good move for him, you know. Obviously, he's going up north and he's going to be playing because their season is different than ours. So he's going to have a very long season of football as an individual because their season goes a lot more. But he's gone up to Larne, and the Northern Ireland League season, I think, has only started last week. So that to tell you how long season he's going to have. But I was disappointed he didn't work out at Bowes. I seen him in pre-season against Dundalk, and I thought he had a very good game. He scored a goal too. I thought it was going to be like, right, this could be another gem Keith Long has unleashed. Didn't work out, wasn't getting in the team, got a loan move to Galway. Doesn't really seem like it worked out at the First Division level either. Ultimately, he got moved to Larne, and look, I say fair play to him. If he wasn't happy, he wasn't playing, getting in, he got to a club where he is going to get in and play. Look, I wish him all the best, and I hope he does very well there.
Yeah, it's tough, actually, because that must be about 4 clubs within the last year or so. So, like, that can be a difficult thing for any player, can't it?
Galway, Larne, like, I actually thought there was a way from rule where you can't play with more than 3 clubs in 1 year. So
he might have gone over the year slightly, like, you know, that kind of way. So,
maybe,
but it feels within a year-ish, doesn't it?
It does. Oh, I think you're right, because 2020, 21. So I think he just missed that bus, because you can, as far as I know, you can only play for 3 clubs in 1 calendar year. He just missed that boat, so which is good for him.
That was the rule as far as I was aware as well. But Galway obviously go into this game having suffered a 1-0 defeat to Athlone last time out, which they'd be disappointed because Shelbourne actually drew. So that was an opportunity to maybe catch in Shelbourne. Cabo, as I said, are 8th, but they're 11 points off playoff place. It's a difficult one for Cabo, isn't it? What do they play for, really?
That's the thing. The only thing they can keep doing is, it's no cliches, and they look at every game as to come and try and get 3 points, and try and push yourself up the table. I'm very disappointed that they're 8th. I didn't think after recent seasons they would be down around 8th. But
it's more the gap, isn't it, as well? Not even 8th. It's the gap. Yeah. 11 points behind the team in the playoff, like the last final playoff place.
Like, they're going to rely on their team to lose and make sure you get 3 points to push yourself up the league. If they were to win the next 3 games, but the clubs ahead of them that are 2 and 3 places ahead of them win, they're still 11 points behind, if not going to be more if they lose results. So what do they play for? You're right. Maybe you should just try and up the table as best as they can and go out with professional attitude and just win every game as best as they can.
How are you seeing it? Who's going to win?
I think you're going to have to go with Galway, really. Look, they're second. They've a huge goal difference. They're in second for a reason. They've got great players. I know they lost at Athlone 1-0, but look, they're always going to, let results slip every now and again. But we have to go with Galway. I'm going to say it's going to be 3-0 to Galway.
Yeah, I'm going to go Galway comfortable as well. I'll go 2-0 just to be a little bit different. Cork City take on Athlone down to Turner's Cross, and obviously Athlone had that new manager bounce with Paul Doolan in and beating Galway 1-0. They're 8 points off a playoff place, and with 7 games to go, I suppose Athlone, if they could extend that new manager bounce to the last 6 or 7 matches, they could have a chance of nicking a playoff place. I wouldn't write it off, but I would say they probably have to win here in Turner's Cross against fairly rejuvenated Cork City side in recent, I suppose, weeks and months.
Yeah, definitely. I think that new manager bounce is coming into play here. Getting a win against Galway, I don't think anyone really would have seen that one coming.
They're not winning that the week before, in my opinion.
No, definitely not. If you look at the 2 teams on paper, you're saying it's Galway win all day of the week, or it might be a 1-1 because of Paul, coming in. But fair play to Athlone. They came in to put up the Galway 1-0, and I think they could get another 1-0 win against Cork, and Cork did very well in the Cup the week against Pats. They took them the whole way, the penalties, and that's showing tremendous character to take them the whole way, and that can't be dismissed going into this match, because playing against Athlone or Pats is completely different. And if they could take Pats away the penalties, it shows that they have something there, and they are rejuvenated throughout where they are now, and they could start picking up results. It's going to be a hard game for both teams, but I'm going to say Athlone 1-0. I think Athlone could sneak this, and I hope they do. It'll be very interesting to see where they finish the end of the season now. If they can sneak into a playoff position, I certainly wouldn't rule them out.
I still think, even though you got that new manager bounce, I still think Paul Doolan will be looking at a squad and trying to look for the best formula, because of a lot of players, don't they? And a lot of players that they brought in actually just before Carberry left the club as well. Whereas with Cork, the biggest thing with Cork, I think, in recent weeks, excuse me, is the fact that they look to have a bit more of a settled side there. Midfield, they've got Byrne. Coffey's come in and made a big difference. Byrne has been pretty decent all season, to be fair, but hasn't had the players or the structure maybe around them. They've had a quality with Bulger there, who didn't actually play against Pats from the start. But the two up front, Murphy and Whitmarsh, have struck a brilliant partnership as well. And I think they might be a bit more cohesive than Athlone, actually. And that might be enough for Cork to nick the win here, I think. Moving on to talk about, we've got Shelbourne and Wexford. And obviously Wexford have had 3 games without defeat, so that's a bit of progress, including the cup win. Sees them into the next round of the cup. Now, it's going to be a tough game because they travel to Pats. And obviously Kyle Robinson and Cian Kelly won't be able to play in that match. We actually discussed that, didn't we, in the cup preview show? If they were to play, say, a Pats or a Bowls, that's a killer. But, I mean, you know, going to Shells, in a way, I see the Shells game, Daz. I know it sounds funny, but this is kind of like a rehearsal for Wexford for that cup game, because Shells are the best team in the league. They've got the best players in the league, and they might be looking to form a similar structure to see how it works out, so that by the time they play Pats at Richmond Park, they might have something for them. So I can see a lot of playing around there. Shells, I think, you know, see this as an opportunity. Look, let's get the 3 points. We'll have 6 games to go, and we're really looking good, even if, say, Galway were to win. So it's a great opportunity for Shells. And I, funnily enough, think this will be tight, as, but I do think Shells will nick it.
Completely agree. Absolutely. Wexford will definitely be looking at this as a rehearsal game. And if they go out and get thumped in the league, so what to Wexford? They're where they are in the league. It's not going to make any difference to them. It's going to make a difference to Shells, obviously. And if Wexford go out with a game plan and nick some kind of result, if they're thinking, we could go with this now in the cup and tweak 1 or 2 things, we might be able to push this to extra time or penalties and get through to the next round, or even see out and get results. I definitely wouldn't push Wexford aside for this. They could definitely turn over Shelbourne this. They'll be playing with confidence, and the young players that have really progressed for them this season, they're really developed into really good players for Wexford, and Wexford definitely will be going in thinking we can get something out of this. Or even, like you said, looking at a rehearsal game, if they get turned over, so what? Shelbourne have quality of the pitch, it's to be expected, but they can go with a game plan, see what they can do, and try and come up with a formula to try and get through to the cup and see what they can do. Well, I think Shelbourne will be looking to get this 3 points, and I think they'll have to. This is one of those games.
Just throw it in there, sorry, Daz. Their next 2 games, Shelbourne, are home to Wexford and away to Cabinteely. So they should be targeting this for 6 points. And I think if they get that, that's them home and dry nearly.
Yeah, definitely think so as well. And I think they'll have to try and get 3 points out of this. And look, it'd be very hard to see past it, but I do think it will be close. It'll be definitely close. Wexford are playing with a lot more confidence than it would have been 5 or 6 games ago. So it's going to be very close, I think. But like you said, I can't see Shelbourne sneaking it. I think it's going to be 1-0 Shelbourne for me.
Yeah, same here, 1-0 Shelbourne. Treacy take on Cove in a Munster derby, and obviously Cove will be licking their wounds after that poor display, but poor result against Maynooth in the Cup, and they've been lacking form recently, whereas Treacy actually have had a little wobble, a couple of defeats and a draw. They're still 8 points above the team that aren't in the playoff position, but a couple of more wobbly results and that might change. But you'd like to think this is a great opportunity for Treacy to get back to winning ways against a Cove team that just seem to be bereft of confidence at the moment.
I definitely think, just to be straightforward win for Treaty, I think this is when they're going to get back to winning ways. I think this could be 2 or 3-0 win for Treaty. They'll be looking at their 8 point gap, and they'll be wanting to expand that as best as possible. And they'll be looking at Cove. I know of every team in the league, they'll be thinking to themselves, you know, we should get a result against Cove. Like, they should be able to go there and get a result. And Cove haven't been having the best of seasons either, and they've been up and down with form, and you know that last minute it's not going to do them any good. They'll be down with no confidence. But Cove could also be looking to bounce back and try and get back to winning ways and shake that off and get the monkey off the back and try and get results. So they could put it up to them as well. But I do think Treaty will win this 2 or 3-0.
Yeah, we've got 3rd and 4th UCD take on Bray at Belfield, and obviously this is a little bit of a derby. I know Bray are in Wicklow, but there's not much of a distance there with UCD and Bray. As I said, only goal difference is separating them in the league. this looks like the makings of a cracking game with plenty of open football, in my opinion. I just wonder, though, I know UCD are third and there is a bit of a gap. I think there might be 11 points ahead themselves of actually getting knocked out of the playoffs, so to speak. I wonder, though, will their eye be taken off the ball just slightly or even subconsciously with the cup? Do you think, Daz, perhaps?
Perhaps they might even choose to rest a few players just to try and have a go at a cup run. They're in a very good position in the league. They probably could afford to rest a few key players. I don't
So
see
it doesn't matter where they finish in the playoffs, let's be honest, as long as they finish there.
Exactly. It doesn't matter where they finish in it, as long as they finish in it. And they have a huge point gap. They could afford to lose points, which is a very rare thing you can say in football, that they can't afford to lose points. But they can. And I think if I was in charge over there, I'd be resting a few key individuals, and I'd be trying to make sure that I spread game time out throughout the pitch and have the team really fresh for the cup to try and get results there. So I think Bray might win this on the basis of that, because UCD probably might opt to rest players. And if UCD rest players, it's not like they've experienced to come in. They're a very, very young side or a college side. So they could leave themselves open if they really lack personnel in some positions, which I think they do, because there's the system, how they set up and where they are and what they're at. But I think this could be a Bray 2-1 victory for them. I think UCD might choose the rest players, and rightly so if they do.
Also, Brave been on form as well. They've only lost 4 games all season, but they've been winning a lot of matches crucially lately as well.
That's actually something that goes very under the radar, that they've only lost 4 all season. That's something no one really talks about. That's showing tremendous spirit in that team. They're actually not losing many games at all. There might be a lot of draws, but they're not losing. So they're showing that they're very hard to lose, and they've got a very core players. And it's something that we talked about earlier with the Dundalk team. They just don't have they've no team cohesion, and to be not losing many games like Brea, it shows that they have that, and they have the mentality to work together as a team. So definitely, I think Brea is someone who's gone under the radar this season as well.
Definitely, and the fact that Shelburne have only lost once this season, have played Bray 3 times, and each time it's been a draw, that tells you something as well, But also, I think with Bray recently, I think Sam Verdon coming in has made a big difference. He's been in the goals, got a couple of goals as well. Callum Thompson, Graydon, Brandon Kavanagh. That's serious attacking threat in the first division. But they haven't been able to have players of that quality all season. Like Gary Shaw has been injured more or less all season, so they've missed him. Young Darrell Lynch, who burst on the scene there kind of last season, scored quite a few goals. I believe he's only 17 or 18, and he gave them a presence. He's missed the whole season as well. So, in my opinion, if they had a striker or Shaw or Lynch available earlier on the season, some of those draws probably get turned into wins as well. So, you could argue, there's a strong argument to suggest that Bray are the second best team in the division, actually.
Very strong argument for that 100%. And like you said, the players brought in there is almost a new front three. You got Thompson on one wing, you got Sam Verdon up front, and you got the other winger that came in then as well. That's a new front three that could be on the bench to come on if you're losing in the game. You have a new front three, a good front three to come on at that level, I think, anyway. So it's definitely something that Bray can look at, and hopefully they can keep this team for next season and actually have a real push at Division 1. And who knows where they could finish? They could be champions next season for all anyone knows. But next season's a long ways away. But
who knows, that they might be beating Dundalk in a relegation playoff. Who knows?
They might be. That's the thing, and it wouldn't be great if that did happen. But I'd be an absolute fairy tale.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go for Bray to win as well. I don't think I actually mentioned that, but I think I was probably suggested that actually. But yeah, I think Bray will win this game as well, to be fair. Look, guys, we'll leave it there. Please like the video, subscribe if you're new, hit your bell notification so you don't miss a video, and let us know what you think in the comments about the various games. Cheers, guys.